Okay, so I came up here on the mountain tonight, earlier this evening, because this is where I usually am. And it's cold tonight. And I had a feeling that I was supposed to be up here. Didn't know why. No idea. God told me, and I know how that sounds. We're not supposed to say that God talks to us, but God does talk to me. And I don't mean in really a way that I can hear or prove to anyone else. But it's a knowing. It's a knowing unlike any kind of other knowing. Like, I know God's voice, so to speak. The voice, it's not a voice. But I know that voice better than I know my own name. And I pulled into the parking lot at church this morning. And I had nothing. I had $35 in my bank account for the rest of the month. 1:11 on the clock when I said that. And I didn't know how I was gonna make it at all. I had no fucking idea. I'm just gonna be honest. I had no idea. None. I didn't know what to say, what to do, and I had asked the people at church for some money already, and I wasn't entirely proud of the fact that I wasn't able to make it. I was able to make it last time, but at the same time, I had a choice a couple days ago of whether I couldn't afford food and I had a couple bucks, and I thought, well, I'll buy a pack of cigarettes, which is why I have cigarettes right now. And I mean, that's how bad it was. I wasn't bemoaning this. This is something I'm capable of changing, and yet I haven't found anything to lend myself to yet. And I don't say that in some kind of haughty or cocky way. It's just simply, I just know that it's the truth. I just know. And so I came up here. Excuse me. Oof. Excuse me. I came up here, frankly, because I didn't want to be in the city with all the, bullshit. And so, I didn't really want to spend the gas to get up here and all. But I also knew that the voice of God was talking to me. And I don't mean a voice that I hear with my ears. It's something that's in my mind. Kind of like people see things in their mind's eye. It's the same thing, only it's a voice. And so I came up here, and I usually go to the other side of the mountain. I usually don't come down here. And I usually don't come to this part of the mountain at all. And so I came down here, and Bella and I had been sitting here for a minute, and this really handsome kid, young boy, not a kid, but a teenager, maybe early 20s, really good looking, pulls his car right there. And usually I'm standoffish about people coming close to me, and let alone I don't approach them. It's not something I do. I just don't. And people up here on the mountain know that. Standoffish person. It's not because I'm unhealed or have some trauma response or I can't trust other people. I can. They're just usually not worthy of my trust, is the truth. Because I give the amount of trust I give people is a tremendous amount. And this kid is sitting in his car, and he's, despite all his good looks, and he's got a really good energy about him, I could tell that something was off. Nothing horrible, it wasn't wandering around talking to himself or something. But so I was thinking about what could I give him? And I was I have some shells in my car that were given to me by somebody else who went to Costa Rica recently. And I thought, okay, Lord, I'll give him a shell. Because the Lord was prompting me to go talk to this person. I didn't know why. No idea. Don't know anything about this person. Not at all. But I grabbed one of the shells, And I, the prettiest one I could find, the best one I had. And I got out of my car and I walked up to his window and struck up a conversation. And although I did most of the talking, which I tend to do sometimes, I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to give. So I started this conversation with him, and out of nowhere, he asks me if he can hug me. And that kid, like, held on to me. And he was crying. I don't know. I still don't know why. No idea. I mean, I know. I know all the same. He didn't tell me why. Not at all. Didn't tell me. We didn't talk about it. But he responded to the love I gave him. Because love, and I told him this too, love is disarming. Most people, they respond, they react. Most people don't respond at all. They react. And, you know, as we were standing there with somebody who had gone up the mountain, because this person lives in the community up there, like, and it's not about her. It's about the attitude that I've gotten from most of the people up there. There's a lot of ego going on up there. And anyway, even though, and she pulled up and she said she has a test tonight, or I don't know. I mean, that's all her business, not mine. But she was saying that she wanted to, like, pull right here because she can get phone signal. I'm like, and I simply told her the truth, that my dog will probably bark at her all night. It's the truth. My dog barks at everybody, like, incessantly. She's a protector, you know? I mean, I'm her protector, she's mine. And together we have each other's backs. But even though she threw attitude my way, and I'm like, well, she said, you know, you don't seem very nice. I'm like, your perception is really off. I didn't say that. What I said was, well, I'm sorry you think that, you know? And, like, it's not any kind of, like, narcissistic response, although those words may be like, well, that she's a narcissist. But, like, I'm so far from that. But I could tell that she was misunderstanding. And even through that, you know, we held the space, this young man and I, we held the space of love. And, like, I told him this too, and I've told other people this, you know, if other people can hate each other for no reason, like, I see plenty of people doing that, or just even dislike each other, which is a form of hatred. It's a smaller form, but it's still hatred all the same. It's fear. And I can love people for no reason. Why do I need a reason? I don't need one. It should be enough. It is enough that we're all human beings on this spaceship Earth, and that we need each other. And to come at people with this amazing amount of and I could tell that it really touched this person. He asked me if I was a guardian angel. He asked me that. And when people respond to you in such amazing ways, and there were other things that this person said to me, not a lot, but there were other things that he said that let me know I was right in the right place at the right time. And he pulled next to me. I didn't pull next to him. He pulled next to me. And, you know, I gave him the shell, and I gave him every ounce of love I could give him in that moment. I did everything except tell him that I love you, and which I do. And, like, if that person ever watches this video, I love you. I love you all the way, unreservedly. I don't even know you. Doesn't matter. I love you all the same, and I mean that. There's nothing fake, or I have no ulterior motives. I don't want anything from you. I don't even want or need your love necessarily. I just want you to know that I love you in such a pure, wholesome, amazing way. And, like, all that I could ever want back from our exchange tonight, other than the gift that you gave me, which I didn't necessarily want, but you gave me, and I'm happy to have it. I am genuinely happy to have this. I will hold on to it for the rest of my life. No doubt at all. And cherish it. That you just take that love, just take it, run with it, and be free, and be happy. And you don't even have to pay it forward. There's nothing required of you, nothing at all. Just take that love and use it. Use it for yourself. You know, that person, I mean, I don't, like I said, I genuinely don't know the details or anything like that. I could venture a lot of guesses, but like ultimately at the end of the day, it's all his business anyway. It's not mine, and it's not anybody else's. But like at the end of the day, that person is going to be like a healthier, happier, stronger, more fulfilled person, just because I told him and showed him love. Like I didn't tell him, but everything I said was from love. Everything that our embrace, I mean, we hugged a couple times, and he held my hands, and we were both freezing cold. It's really cold tonight. I think it's like in the upper 50s, but the wind is really powerfully cold right now. And still, it was like we held that space, just the two of us, and I felt like, and not in any kind of romantic way, it's not like that, but like just the pure, wholesome love that one human being can show to another. A total stranger, doesn't matter. And I just gave him a show. That's where it all started. I was sitting in my car and I was just like, Lord, I don't know what I could give this person. I was like, do I have a bottle of water, or do I have anything in my car? Like, what could I give him? That he could use, that he could, that would help him. And I was like, well, I don't really have anything, but I have myself. And that's worth a lot. And, I've been through a lot, and I know that people may think that I'm crazy, or who knows, whatever the fuck they think, like, whatever. I don't even know. But genuinely, I keep getting put in these situations because I'm willing to be put in them, that are so transcendent, that are so amazing, and so beautiful. What a beautiful young man. Just really beautiful, inside and out. Just like, appearance, very good looking, but like really just had this really like deep, like poet soul. Like I could tell, like this very deep, like still waters run deep kind of thing. That person's amazing. I can tell, like, no doubt. And I mean, we're all amazing, don't get me wrong. Like, I know we're all special, we're all amazing. But like, there's something about having encounters like that with other human beings that is so powerful, and so, I'll never forget that man. That young man, I'll never forget him, and he'll probably never forget me either. I'm pretty sure he'll never forget me. And whatever it is that I, poured the salve, or, lotion, or, like ointment of love on for him, whatever that was, because like I said, I genuinely don't actually know, that heals for him. Whatever that is, that it just be completely and utterly healed, and like healed, and not only healed, but like made to be never a wound again, and not even a scar, that the Lord just smooths that out, and that he would be able to sustain that feeling. I know that he is able. I know that he's able, and that he just find that peace. And we prayed together. He asked me to pray with him. He said, I can't believe I'm going to ask this, but will you pray with me? And after I had said everything I said, and I did talk about God, and I talked about Jesus, and I talked about the Bible, I'm not trying to convert anybody or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you, If you need to know, or if you want to know, I'll tell you how I got here and what got me here and what has kept me here. Not in this geographical spot, but this state of being, this state of consciousness, this heart-mind space, this spiritual, physical space within me. What has done that for me? And I could say unequivocally. And I've tried all kinds of things. I've looked for the truth in all kinds of places. And the truth is everywhere if people have a mind to find it. A willingness to find it. I mean, I could find the truth in a stack of leaves. You know, it doesn't matter. It's because I'm looking for it. And when, you know, the word tells us, the word of God tells us, seek and ye shall find. You know, knock and the door will be opened. These are like fundamental things that we're all told, not all of us, but like, I don't think people really say how simple it really is. And I don't think people impart wisdom to another person in a way that's loving and manageable. You know, people want to frame it in this life coach or religious or, you know, whatever other system of control that there is. People don't really come at it from a way of love that's just genuinely, authentically loving. Nothing else. Nothing else. I have no designs on anything. I'm not out to try to get anything except more happiness. Like, that doesn't cost anyone anything. Not even me, in fact. So, like, when we check our ego, when we check our motives, and we know that we are acting in truth, in light, in love, and that's our only motivation, that's the magic is so there, and it's powerful. And the reason I say about God and not just God, but like specifically Christ. And I know about, you know, our central nervous systems and Christos oil. I know about our central nervous systems with Christmas tree, and I get it. I hear that, and that's true too. Excuse me. But also, Christ was real. He was Yeshua HaMashiach. He was a real man. He was as real as I am, as real as my dog, as real as the rocks outside, as real as the mountain I'm sitting on right now. And, you know, I always wondered, well, I wouldn't say I've always wondered, but like recently I started wondering, and I mean, I have kind of like, I've always wondered this, but like legitimately I would like to ask the question that if Allah's manifestation here on earth, Muhammad, is thought of as a real man, and Buddha, Siddhartha, was a real man, and, you know, all these other people, then why is the deception surrounding Christ not being a real man, that he was not a real man? Why is that deception so great? If your eternal soul doesn't exist and there is no God, you know, or, you know, there's just some esoteric universe out there, and it isn't Christ and it isn't God the way that we're taught I mean, I'm not talking about Christianity, but I am talking about the Christ story, the Christ consciousness, and I am talking about the Bible. Religion is something else. Religion has a lot to teach us, but it's not the end all be all. Nothing is, really, nothing is. There's only one Most High God. There's only one truth. And I know, you know, if our eternal souls are not, you know, all that in a bag of chips, then why did Christ die for it? So that your soul could be saved and eternally saved. And why does our enemy and adversary, Satan, demons, things like that, pursue it tirelessly, relentlessly, eternally as well? It's a legitimate question to ask oneself. And why do people of God and not only Christians, but like other people too, but specifically Christians, have the authority and dominion through Christ Jesus to overcome evil. How does that work? Like, what? Because I've thought about this many times, and I pondered it, and I've said to myself, and I've said out loud to other people that I don't know that Christ is the only way, but I'm beginning to wonder about that. And I mean, like, not in, a biblical way. I know that biblically that's the truth, and fundamentally I've still been looking for a genuine answer to that, because I'm all about inclusion. That's what Christ was about. And I'm not saying I'm Christ at all by any stretch of the imagination. However, if we are going to call ourselves Christ-minded and Christ-like, even Christ-like, then how can we not include everybody? Because by not including everybody, we are in fact excluding someone. At the end of the day, someone's getting excluded. And I would like to ask another legitimate question. If we're excluding anyone who doesn't want to be excluded, then what are we actually doing? Because that's not tolerance, and that's not love. And fundamentally, that's what Christ taught, was tolerance and love above all else. Above all else. And sometimes to love someone is to be disruptive in their life. Sometimes loving someone is not always feel like the nicest thing. Sometimes love is violent and conflicting, but and violent in the sense that it roughs things up, it shakes things up, and mercilessly sometimes. But that disruption, that controversy, that's what wakes people up. And if we're not willing to stand up and be convicted about our beliefs and talk about them with other people unreservedly, I love that young man unreservedly. I would tell anybody, I would shout it from the rooftops, as though I were in love with him. But I'm not. Do you see what I mean? Why not give the best of your love to every single person that you meet, even the assholes? It's another legitimate question. Why are we not doing that? It's very effective. It's an extremely effective weapon. And I mean, it's not a weapon in the sense that it hurts other people, but it is disarming in a way that nothing else is. Nothing else can be. And the truth is disarming too. The truth disarms me to this day. And I would rather be armed with the truth and love than false fear any day. So I think, we have to ask each other and ask ourselves, where am I coming from? What is, if I do have a motive in this, what is my motive? And quite literally, my motive is to be love and to be truth. Truth doesn't give a shit if it's liked in this world. And it will never change itself to fit into this world. Never. And it's not some defiant, I don't care about what you think or, your approval. No, I know that it doesn't help anything. And I know that fundamentally it doesn't make anything more true to trade my authenticity for approval or to want to be anything other than just myself. And, to see how that moves other people. To get to see that. Most people, they go through their lives and they hope that they made a difference. They pray maybe that they made a difference. They maybe a lot of people lay awake at night hoping they made a difference in someone's life, especially their children's. Maybe children they teach or, their sons, their daughters, whatever it is. People in their school, parents with their children, whatever that is for you. And most people never get that. They never really know if they made a real difference in another human being's life. Not really. And I think that knowing that the way that I do is such a tremendous gift in ways, and it's fulfilling and satisfying in ways that I cannot even explain. Like, I really can't articulate them because it's so fulfilling. It's so amazing. Just the conversation, you know, I talked a lot more than he did, but just that short 45-minute interaction, which it might have been a little longer than that, but you never know when you can save someone's life. And you don't know, you know, just a hug can save someone's life. I'm not even kidding. Telling one person what helped get you through, and I mean like a healthy, you know, happy thing that helped you, can save someone's life. A smile can save someone's life. Don't underestimate the small things. Hold on to your joy, hold on to your peace at the cost of everything. And I mean that. And I don't mean like, you know, sacrifice everything, but like kind of I do. Because so little in this world brings us peace and joy, true peace and joy, that when you find those things that really bring it to you, I say hold on to them like your existence depends on it, because actually it kind of does. I mean, it does. It does in ways that are so much more important than we can really say. It's an emotion, and I don't mean like a feeling. It's evidence, and it's also, I mean, faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things unseen. And that has been circling, that theme has been circling in my life for the last couple days. I mean, that particular Bible verse. And to know that person will never forget me, I'll never forget him, ever. And he gave me a gift. He gave me a necklace that one of his family members gave to him. And I'll cherish it forever. Like, no joke. It's a blue tile with a bee on it. And it's just the prettiest thing I've ever seen. Except for my dog. You know? And I know it doesn't look like much, and it's got a chip in it, and, you know. But, like, I will treasure this. Because it came from the heart of somebody who is just a fine person. I just know that he is. I just know it. And I don't call anybody out, and, you know, I've never used names, and don't ever be embarrassed. No, never. Be proud of how amazing you are. Because you are. And, like, I love you. 10 toes down. Down to the ground. Like, I love you. And, like, because I can. And nobody can stop me. And when you come at it from that kind of standpoint in your heart and your mind, you can move mountains. Your faith can move mountains. No doubt. No doubt at all. I know that the simplest of things oftentimes are the most magical ever. I know that when I pulled into the church parking lot today, I had nothing. I had less than a quarter of a tank of gas. I had no food. I had some dog food, but like not much. Not enough to get through the rest of the month. And by the time I spent like an hour at church, and I mean, I love going to church though. And I wasn't actually going to go this morning because I didn't sleep last night. I was getting downloads all night long. I didn't know why. I still don't really. But like a lot of messages were coming in fast and furious, and I couldn't sleep all night because of it. I mean, I did sleep. I slept from about 7 in the evening till about midnight. And then I woke up about 12:30, and then I didn't go back to sleep until sunup, until the sunrise. And once I saw the sunrise, I crawled back into my car and went to sleep with my dog. But Your frequency, your vibration is more important than you think. Our ability to impart what we know and what we feel to another person is one of the greatest gifts we could ever give ourselves or anyone else. And it by far is the most valuable thing that we have to offer this world, any of us. So next time you find yourself second guessing, doubting, wondering, and I don't mean like, you know, in a good way wondering, I mean like questioning in a way that's not good, that way that doesn't feel good to question, you know, when you're like, when your foundation is rocked and you're just kind of like, oh my god, is anything I've ever fucking thought true? Yeah, that kind of questioning, that kind of wondering. That shit that like makes you question, you know, like, what's my name again? That kind of questioning, that not good questioning, that doubt that creeps in, it's insidious, it seeps into every fucking thing. Like oil in the ocean, it just permeates everything, it makes everything toxic. When you're wondering about yourself next time, hold on to the things that you know anchor you in this world, that you know are yours, because those are your experiences, those are your thoughts, those are your dreams, and hang on to them because they are special. They're more special than you think. And I know everybody wants to think they're special, and you know they should, because they are. But like you'll know if you're coming at it from, you know, this egotistical, self-important, cocky kind of way. But the proof is in the pudding, and you can always tell a fruit by its, you know, a tree by its fruit. You know, the Bible tells us this. If a tree is not good, it will not produce good fruit. And, you know, if fruit is not good, it will not come from a good tree. Anger begets more anger. Fear begets more fear, just like dogs beget more dogs. Rocks make more rocks. It's like that. Humans make more humans. This is how it works. And those are natural laws, universal laws. And yeah, we can clone and do all this kind of weird shit. But like fundamentally, you can't make another me. And like everybody knows this. And, you know, scientifically minded people know that, you know, you can even make a duplicate down to the molecule of something. And still, it doesn't have the essence of that thing. It doesn't, and it never will. And this is what fundamentally makes humans humans, dogs dogs, rocks rocks, clones, you know, and all kinds of things. What we have in our experiential understanding, in our spirit, in our souls, even in our hearts and minds, is more special than anybody has ever told us. It's more moving, it's more powerful than anything we've ever been told. And I know that may sound kind of cheesy or, you know, self-important maybe, and it's absolutely not. When you've given your best to everyone around you, including yourself, and you know that the only thing that truly moves you is love, and you always choose love and faith over fear, always, and you know that there's nothing else in your heart, that's when you feel like you've really made it. You've genuinely made it. And not just like made it into some like, you know, I mean ascended. I mean this. When you realize that your only motivation is to act out of love. Like I went to church today, I asked the pastor, who had the same name as my first love, the first love of my life, who happened to be murdered years later. And no, I'm not saying there's any correlation with any kind of romance. It's nothing like that. It's a genuine, and it's consequential. However, it's things like that you will see again and again and again. The synchronicities line up almost every single time. This person, this young man I met tonight, excuse me, he had the same middle name as one of the most dear people to me in the whole world ever was. My little brother. And I haven't had anybody hold on to me like that, like in an embrace, for a long time. You know, perfect strangers crying in my arms. Not like in a, bad way. Nothing bad at all. But like it disarmed me even. I was just like, asking me if I'm a guardian angel. I'm like, yeah, I am. I guess I am. I guess I am. Yeah. I guess I am. I don't really think of myself as such. But at the same time, I know that it's true. I don't know how all of that works. I'm simply acting on love. I'm acting on the prompts. And this is where, like, obedience to God comes in. You can hear the voice all day long. The voice. We'll just call it the voice. You can hear it all day long. You can think about it all day long. You can read the word, you can pray and all the kind of stuff. But unless you are willing to step out in faith and be obedient to God, and I mean like getting a shell and walking up to the stranger, talking to him, then that's falling short of our real glory. And that glory is given to us freely, with just nothing you could ever do to earn it or deserve it. Not me, not you, not anyone, not even Jesus Christ himself. So when you understand that, you start to see how genuinely amazing God is. And you want more. And the beautiful thing is, God always gives you more. Keeps it exciting and new and fun, like no other relationship you've ever had. And it is so magical, so powerful, so amazingly transcendent. You don't even want anything else. It's so good. It's so good. It's good for everybody. It's not any kind of, you have to be from this background or, this socioeconomic status or, this ethnicity or even this part of the world or anything. God is freely available to all of us. There's no discrimination with God. Not at all. I don't care if you've been a Muslim your whole life. I don't care if you're Buddhist. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care, whatever. It doesn't matter. God doesn't care either. Because the Holy Spirit searches and intercedes on the behalf of the spirits who are truly God's people. Nobody needs to tell God who his people are. He knows. Oh, you betcha. He knows. He knows better than we ever could who his people are and who's doing his will and who's not. So don't doubt the power of love to change the lives of yourself and everyone around you. You never know. My mother used to tell me, to be careful when you throw rocks into a pond because you never know where those ripples are going to extend to. And that's the truth. It's so true. I say, if we're going to live in a glass house, I say we just throw love everywhere. I mean, it's just as contagious as anything else. It's as contagious as COVID, probably more. And it's as easy to spread as, the common cold. But think about how much better of a world it would be if we just treated each other with a little more love. Just not extraordinary, gotta start somewhere. But just a little more love. Just a little bit. Just start somewhere. Start somewhere. If we all treated ourselves with a little more love, the world would be a better place. And I know this is not a new idea. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm asking that legitimate question. Why don't we? I mean, at the end of the day, love doesn't cost anything. You don't have to go buy anything to get it. You don't have to, and love is free. It's totally free. And it feels so good to give it. And it feels so good to receive. Especially when you know that all you did was give your love. There's nothing to be gained or lost or worried about or feared or anything when you're operating out of love. I say this in complete and utter truth and love and joy and bliss and enlightenment and all of those great things. The world is waking up. Not all of us, but a lot of us. I think a lot more than have ever been awake before. And I mean fully awake, fully alive. There's a song by Flyleaf. One of the lines in it is fully alive, more than most, ready to smile and love life. Fully alive, now she knows how to believe in Jesus. That's an amazing, I know don't have the best voice, but I sing that like with there's just a lot of soul behind it, and I always remember the lyrics to songs very well. I mean, I remember them forwards, backwards. Songs I've only heard once in my life, I remember the lyrics. And that song has been playing in my mind for about the last month. And I want to be fully alive. I want to be more than most, ready to smile and love life, fully alive, because now she knows how to believe in Jesus. And say what you will about Christ, say what you will about God, but at the end of the day, and it's not from any kind of haughtiness or, self-righteous anything, but I'll bet you I'm happier than you are, more of the time too. And it's not a contest at all. But I also bet I've been through more stuff that would have absolutely obliterated most human beings. Not just statistically, but mentally, emotionally. I wasn't supposed to live, let alone be okay. I should be in some institution somewhere, doped up on who knows how many prescription medications, hating life, and ready to, jump off a cliff or something. And that's just so far from the truth. I was never supposed to make it. I was never supposed to live it, let alone be happy, let alone be able to help others be happy. Never. 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 I've had everything and several kitchen sinks thrown at me, and that's just in the last couple of years, let alone what has happened to me in my life. You probably wouldn't believe me if I told you. That's how wild it is. And I'm a veteran of strange, but even I ponder sometimes the amazing miracle that is my life. And I submitted myself to God's will a long time ago. Best thing I ever did. And I mean, I've done it many times in my life, but recently renewed it in the last 8 or 9 months, 8 to 10 months or so. And just said, all right, Lord, I'm here. Excuse me. I surrender myself to you so completely, molecularly, I surrender. Do what you need to do with me. And the unbelievable freedom that comes from giving your will to God, from submitting and surrendering yourself to God's will, it sounds paradoxical, and that's because most paradoxes are what makes sense. But when you surrender yourself to the will of God, it's the most wonderful freedom you could ever have. Better than living in the United States, better than living anywhere else, better than, it's true freedom. It's not a freedom that everybody's ready to receive, but you can start somewhere. And if you can't handle the freedom yet, because a lot of people, human beings, we're not very good at managing ourselves when we're given too much freedom. Not all of us are. But I would like to submit this suggestion. I would like to propose this idea. That when people genuinely feel better, and I mean really feel better, not covered up, not a Band-Aid on a broken leg, which most things are. not some kind of fake bullshit. You know, nothing I told that young man tonight was untrue. Not one thing, not one word was out of place, was untrue, was fake, was ingenuine. Not one thing I told him. And not only, I don't just mean that in the sense that I was telling the truth. I mean that I open myself to be a channel for the Holy Spirit 24/7. Use me, Lord. Use me for whatever the fuck you need, because God will use whatever he needs to. I've been in spiritual warfare, and I know that this sounds crazy, but I'll tell you the story some other time. But I was given a cigarette to fight one of the most powerful demons I had come up against up until that point. And I know that sounds wild, sounds like psycho, or kind of like a woo, but I'm telling you, this is the truth. It's absolutely 100% truth. And I will always keep it a buck with you. I will always tell you, and everybody else, and myself, the truth. Like I said, the truth doesn't care if it's liked in this world, and it will never change itself to fit in. And that's what makes it the one thing that you can count on, no matter what. Because to be a leader amongst leaders, to be walking in the truth, to be a manifestation of human truth, and I'm not saying I've never lied. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that my spirit is coming from such a place of honesty and genuineness that I simply will not lead you astray. Not intentionally. Never. And even if I'm unsure, I'll tell you I'm unsure. There's truth in that, you know. I'd rather tell someone, oh, I don't know, than have them listen to me and I intentionally or unintentionally deceived them or led them astray. This is not a good, you know, that's not a good quality of a leader. If a leader will lie to you about one thing, they'll lie about something else. And if they will intentionally lead you astray on one thing, they will do it with something else. This is a slippery slope to go down. And like I said, I'm not saying that I've never lied in my life. I am saying that I would not intentionally or unintentionally lead someone astray. Not when literally our eternal, immortal souls are at stake. It is no joke. World War III is spiritual. It is, 100%. The things that you think of, the things that we've talked about in this world, like angels, ancestors, spirit guides, all these things, they're all real. Like, I mean, these are real things. Demons, real. Oh yeah, real. And I don't just mean like in some kind of like esoteric spiritual way. I mean fucking real, like you can see them and shit. I'm not even kidding. And no, I'm not crazy. Not even a little bit. Totally sane person. Well balanced mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And these are real things. It's all real. It's all real. It's all more than real. I mean, I can't explain it all metaphysically, how all this exists. It's all right here, right now. There are angels around me right now. Angels with that young man. You know, and some people choose to embrace their more satanic and demonic nature. And also, demons are real things. They're real entities. They're real. Just like the angels are. And there are also beings of balance in this world that are neither satanic nor angelic necessarily, but they keep balance. They're anchors. And when you balance your light and your dark side, your shadow and your light, your left and your right, your north and your south, your up and your down, your masculine and your feminine, your demons and your angels within yourself. When you balance all that yourself, you start to realize how important that balance is for human beings. And it's not that we don't have enemies or we don't have good things. We do. We do absolutely have enemies. Hands down, we have enemies all the way. And we also have things that are our allies. Not only our allies, but people and things that will fight in our stead. They will stand in and fight for us. What? Like, and when you start to understand like the universal laws of these things and see that nothing that is angelic, that is divinely angelic, acts out of fear. Ever. That is not a godly quality, not within us, not in God, not in the angels, not in our ancestors. It's not a fucking, it's not, fear is not angelic at all. Look, if the spirit of fear comes on you, you know, one thing that's really powerful, and it's on my, it's a Bible verse. And I'm just going to say this, and you don't have to believe in the Bible to use this. I mean, for it to be completely effective, yes. But for it to start to work in your life, this will work for everybody. The next time you feel afraid, and I mean of anything, a panic attack, having to cross the street, your partner leaving you, not having enough money, not having enough food, whatever that fear is for you. Lack of security, lack of stability, lack of love. Come back with this and say it out loud. Say it out loud and write it down. Do whatever you need to do with it, but like, use this. The Lord does not bring me the spirit of fear, but of peace, power, and a sound mind. Use it. Say it. You don't have to say in Christ's name. You don't have to say in Jesus' name. You don't even have to say Lord, but say, I know that the spirit of fear is the opposite of love. And love brings me peace, power, and a sound mind. Always. Never. There's no exception to this. There's no exception to this rule. Ever. Never. Now, should we have like fear of God? Yes. But like, you'll figure that out later. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, fundamentally, is it fear or is it love? Because faith and fear tend to be the opposite of each other. But fundamentally, for human beings, we're always only coming from two places. Fear or love. That's it. Everything else trickles down from those two stemming emotions for human beings. That's how it works. Now, there are more complex like combinations of those emotions. However, fundamentally, that's where all human everything starts and ends. It's either in love or fear. And I would like to propose that we ask ourselves and that we use that saying, and it's biblical, yes. Like, use it. What have you got to lose? And who's gonna ever know anyway, except God and you? You know? No one. So what do you have to lose? Nothing. You know, you don't have to go out and, you know, like, dedicate yourself to some religion. It's not about that. It's about understanding the fundamentals of what Christ really is, who he was, why he did the things he did, all of it out of love, all of it. And if we want to be part of the Christ consciousness, we want to have our Christos activated within us, we have to start acting like that. And we have to start talking about it and telling other people. Because what good is a wealth of knowledge if you're sitting on it, and you won't give it to other people? What is a wealth of knowledge if you're keeping it secret and hoarding it away like a weird squirrel before winter or something? You know, it's like, well, what if you're the only squirrel that survives? And I guess some people kind of want that. But at the same time, what good is that? Because then you have no one to share it with. Or only very few people share it with. And I would like to propose another idea. Suggest another thing. If we don't all make it, then what the fuck? What is that? You know, we need everybody. I don't know if anybody's figured this out yet, but like, we need everybody. Everybody. I mean, the assholes, the good people, all of it. We need it, and everybody in between. We need everybody. Every soul is so much more valuable than we've been led to believe. So much more valuable. I don't care who it is. And when you start to look at things like that and see yourself and other people, you start to realize how precious every moment is, how precious everyone is, how precious every interaction is. And the rest is easy. The rest becomes so simple that you wonder why you ever even thought about it in a different way at all, ever. You know, you like, well, why? But by then you're so in love with life. You're so in love with the spirit of love. Love is love. I love love. Don't you? Love is so amazing. It feels so good. And it's free. And frankly, if you're paying for it, and I don't mean like in some kind of like like, you know, a sexual way, like paying for love, because that's not love, that's lust. You know, we're acting out of fear. Like, why are we hoarding this information? Why are we sitting on it? Why are we even saying things like, you have to buy my book for $300 or even $30 or even 30 cents? Why? Why? Because it's all free. There is nothing that I've learned on the face of this earth that was imparted to me by some, you know, book that I bought, or some opportunity in a university that not everybody has, or some esoteric knowledge that was hidden away and I had to, you know, become part of some society or other to attain it. Not one fucking thing do I know in everything that I know that's not freely available to everybody, especially with the technology we have these days. I sound like an old person. Shit, I've been old since I was born, so I guess I have been old always. But anyway, it's available to everyone. There is nothing that I know that is secret. There is nothing that I know that I will keep from another human being. There is nothing that I know that I wouldn't freely share. And like, that's not something you find. And that's love. That's really love. Because I want us all to make it. Even the shittiest people. And I mean that. And I really mean that. Because there are some really shitty people on this planet. Really toxic, really horrible people. But the reason, part of the reason that they're horrible and toxic and nasty and unloving and toxic and horrible and nasty to themselves and to other people is because no one's shown them the way of love. And I know how cheesy that sounds. I get it. Like, love, it's all we need. John Lennon was not wrong about that. Imagine all the people. Imagine. Yeah. Like that. It's amazing. Amazing. And it's free. You don't need to buy any equipment. You don't need to go take a class. You don't need to listen to a webinar. You don't need to, you know, nothing. Just open your heart. What? Like, that's it? Really? Yeah. Really, that's it. That's all you need to do. And it just simply starts with a willingness and a wanting. And the rest will come. It will come. It will come. It will be there. And it will be there in divine timing. It will be there when you need it. When you're ready for it. When you're prepared. When you don't even need to worry. Just go about your daily business. But do something a little different with more love today. You don't even really have to, like, think about it. Just hold the door open. Smile at somebody. Hold the door open and smile at somebody. Do something for somebody, like the random acts of kindness kind of thing. But it's not as random as you think. It's really not. So, next time you're sitting somewhere or standing somewhere or dancing somewhere or whatever, and you get prompted to do something out of love, just fucking do it. Just do it. And I don't mean something stupid, but like, even something as small as taking a shell that someone else gave you and taking it to a stranger, even if you don't know why, just do it and offer your best. I gave him the best shell I had, the prettiest one. I looked at all of them. I thought that was the prettiest one. And I gave it to him. You know? It's such a small thing. It's such a small thing, and grew into a burst of light right before my eyes. And there's real power in that. There's real truth in that. There's real magic in that. Can't even begin to touch it. So go about your days with a little more love in your heart towards yourselves, towards each other, and just let it be, you know? it's so much more amazing and wonderful and fulfilling and happy and joyful and blissful and enlightened and everything else, even ecstasy, I would say. Like, the sheer bliss of knowing that someone else is going to feel better because of you, and simply because you just loved them. That's all. Nothing else. Didn't cost anything. You know, I exchanged a shell. He exchanged, you know, a necklace. Took it right off his own neck, in fact. And that's really what it's all about. We don't need to be worrying about all this other shit. Just don't even worry, in fact. And I know that sounds like kind of inhuman. Be concerned, yes. Pray, yes. Prepare, yes. But don't worry. And stop with the fear thing. I get it. You think I haven't been afraid? Oh my God. When I laugh about certain issues, or when I say things are karmic or unhealed or toxic, and I do giggle and I laugh, it's not at all out of any kind of condescension or lack of humility. I laugh and I kind of cry too. Although I'm a little bit over the crying part, because I've been there. I've been there, and without having been to all of those horribly dark and nasty places, not that there's anything wrong with the dark, but you know what I mean, like those places where no human being really wants to be. That's why I'm able to impart the knowledge and wisdom that I have to others, is because I've been there. I get it. I know how you feel. More than I would ever want to admit, actually. Like, but I've been there. I've been there. Just be willing to act out of love. Be willing to, you know, to be the light. You know, or to be the dark. You know, whatever's needed. But always acting out of love. Always coming at it from a standpoint that is so genuinely loving and human, that it's undeniable and it's indescribable. It's that good. And who doesn't need or want more good in their life? Even as much amazingness as I have in my life, I can always do with more. So never underestimate your power to heal others. And, you know, as odd or, you know, different as they may feel in the moment, or awkward, just be willing to step out in faith, because you never know who you could be helping. You never know what difference they'll make in the world. You don't know. They could be the next manifestation of God himself on this planet. You just don't know. You just don't know. So come at it with love. And if you can't quite love yourself yet, love your dog, love your garden, love your car, whatever that is. But like, give it your whole self and give it your best. And put your best foot forward all the time. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what you think it's for or not. When you come at it with love, there's nothing to be gained and nothing to be lost. And so everything is given freely, happily, out of joy. And that's more contagious, more infectious, more wonderful than any horrible disease that human beings have ever seen. Love spreads like wildfire. It spreads like COVID. It spreads like the chicken pox. Only it's wonderful. And it makes more love. And when you're in love and when you're happy and blissful and joyful. No virus can touch you. Nothing can touch you. It's just, that's what makes us really immortal, invincible. It's our ability to love freely, with no fear. And who doesn't want or need more of that? And frankly, if you don't, even the most vile creatures out of all the human species, they want to be loved. They really do. Because when you get that feeling of love, it's just the best. Humans can't deny that. And frankly, if you don't pursue love, you either don't know yet, or you're not human. Check for a belly button. My mother always said, don't ever trust anyone who doesn't have a belly button. I have a belly button. I swear that I do. Love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. No one else is going to do it for us. No one's coming to save us. Let's get to work. Bye for now.